Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Javon Keys. After months of restrictions, Jamaica saw the return of its second largest tourist market, Canada, yesterday. Now, the tourism ministry says it's just the beginning of what's to come. Although welcoming the news, the opposition issued caution. Anthony Lugg reports.
1 p.m. Sunday, an Air Canada plane pulls into the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James. It's the first time in 6 months as all Canadian carriers suspended flights to the Caribbean and Mexico in January. Delano Seavright is senior strategist in the tourism ministry.
It's a big plus for the reopening of the tourism sector across the country, small, medium-sized, large hotels, and also villas and attractions and the craft vendors and the ground transportation operators. The many vendors who support the industry will benefit.
There were only 180 passengers on the flight, but the tourism ministry believes it's the beginning of what's to come.
That by November, based on what we're seeing from the 4 major airlines, that's Air Canada, WestJet, Transat, and Sunwing, we're looking at about in excess of 60 flights per week starting November, heading into the winter tourist season. So that's really good news for us. And it means essentially a full return of the Canadian market.
The development comes amid worry about the Delta variant of the coronavirus, which has been wreaking havoc in other countries. Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Maurice Guy, says while he welcomes the tourists, a word of caution.
Caution in the sense that we have not reached any significant way in terms of our vaccination. The fact that we have not required those visitors who are coming to be fully vaccinated. So in as much as we are welcome the tourists and it is good for the economy, we have to exercise some amount of caution.
On the plus side, there are about 2 or 3 things that we should highlight. One is that Canada now has a very high vaccination rate amongst its population, and that's very good news, thereby substantially reducing the risk. 2, our tourism resilient corridor has worked very well. And we have an infection rate of averaging around 0.6%. Beyond that, the country still insists, it's law, that anybody coming to Jamaica must present a negative COVID test, whether you're vaccinated or not, before boarding a flight to Jamaica. And with those 3 major developments from the Canadian end and the Jamaican end, we believe that we can still successfully control the spread of COVID-19.
Canada has largely been on lockdown for those looking to travel internationally due to some of the strictest quarantine rules in the world. Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.
Bank of Jamaica BOJ says plans are advanced for the August pilot implementation of the Central Bank Digital Currency CBDC. Now, BOJ's Governor Richard Biles says technical support for the CBDC's rollout, among other inputs, are being reviewed to facilitate onboarding of the first financial institution, the National Commercial Bank NCB. Now, other financial institutions will be added between September and December. CDBC is a central bank-backed currency to be used like cash as legal tender. Now, it can be exchanged dollar for dollar with actual cash and is issued to licensed deposit-taking institutions. Now to currency. In today's trading session, the US dollar ended the day selling for $151.12. The Canadian dollar is going for $122.93. The pound sells for $209.64, while the euro is trading for $177.02. Now on to stocks. The JSE index advanced by 3,053 points, while the junior market index declined by 6 points. Among the winners were G West Corporation, First Rock Capital Holdings US dollar shares, Epley's 8.75% preference shares, JMMB Group 7.15% cumulative redeemable preference shares, and Indus Pharma. On the losing side were Portland JSX, Trans Jamaican Highway US dollar shares, Epley's 8.25% preference shares, General Accident Insurance, and Mayberry Jamaican Equities. And that's it for the Business Day. I'm Javon Keys. Good evening.